we will all be joyfully united and present to the Lord in prayer, worship, and service.
In the Diocese of St. Petersburg, Florida, Catholics are starting a new normal. This past Monday, churches celebrated public mass as the state entered its first phase of reopening. But the services aren't the same as they were before the pandemic. Here to tell us more about that is Bishop Gregory Parkes, head of the Diocese of St. Petersburg. Welcome, Bishop. And this is good news. How does it feel to be able to resume public masses? And what's the reaction from parishioners and priests?
Well, first of all, it's good to be with you. And the reaction has been very positive. Of course, the faithful, many couldn't wait to get back to Mass and to receiving the sacraments, particularly the Eucharist. So to be able to at least offer that on a limited basis, beginning with daily Masses, was a great blessing to the faithful.
Yeah, you're taking the public's health very seriously. What are some of the precautions that are in place for reopening?
So, first of all, we're limiting the occupancy or capacity of our churches to 25%. So, we weren't sure the first day we had daily Mass how many people were going to show up. But we did ask our pastors not to allow more than 25% of the occupancy limit. And also, we're observing social distancing within the church itself. So, pews are marked off, sometimes seats are marked off. There's directional tape on the floor for one-way aisles and allowing spacing like for communion lines and that sort of thing.
How will you enforce the 25% capacity? Like, what if you get more people? Do you turn them away?
No, of course, we don't want to turn anyone away. So what some of our parishes are doing, the ones that would have larger congregations, they're actually setting up also in their parish hall or parish center so that any overflow could be directed to there where they could participate by live stream. And then the priest or minister would come over to distribute communion after the Mass.
And what about communion? Parishioners are still able to receive the Blessed Sacrament?
They are, but the host only. We've discontinued offering the precious blood at this time. It just seemed prudent to do that for health reasons. So the faithful can receive the Eucharist either in the hand or on the tongue. And we have made special provisions for that for those that prefer to receive on the tongue.
Okay, and it's important to note that you didn't open all of the parishes in the diocese. Why is that? And since some churches are still closed, are you worried people from other churches will go to the Mass at the parishes that are open?
So I think most of our parishes did actually begin daily Mass on Monday. There were probably a handful that did not for various reasons. Either they weren't prepared to do so, they didn't have the proper cleaning materials to do so, or the staff. So it's better to be safe in those cases. And so they weren't required to begin daily Mass. They were asked to do so if they felt comfortable with it. So we haven't had any incidences of parishes being overrun with parishioners or with the faithful, or indications that parishioners are kind of crossing parish lines to go to Mass.
And there's no Sunday Mass yet. When do you hope to start that up again?
Well, I'm hoping within at least couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, maybe. I kind of have Pentecost in mind as a possible date, which would be a great day, I think, to begin publicly gathering for Sunday Mass again. But we're also, of course, keeping an eye on the local and the state government guidelines. We're in a 3-phased approach here in Florida for reopening the state, and we're currently in phase 1. I'd feel a lot better about beginning Sunday gatherings, large Sunday gatherings, once we get to phase 2, which would allow for a greater occupancy limit within our churches.
Many other dioceses are not open yet, including New York City, which was the epicenter of the crisis. What advice would you give to them?
I think just to be prudent. Main thing for us was to be safe. You know, we don't want to put anybody, whether it be the faithful, our staff, or our priests or deacons, at any undue risk. So safety has to be the top priority, and not to rush. You have to feel comfortable with what you're doing. Everybody wants to get back to Mass. We want the faithful to come back to Mass, but it has to be a very kind of measured and, I think, gradual approach to doing so.
All right, thank you so much, Bishop Parkes, and good luck in your efforts in St. Petersburg.
You're welcome. Thank you, and God bless you.
If you're watching Currents News on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button and then click on the bell to get instant updates about all of our newest content, because we are putting your faith in the news.